You were talking about the producer.
Yeah.
We're trying to sort out the negative perception about the shallow industry of the Nigerian industry. You talked about the producer being everything, going to look for finance. Yes.
Yeah, so, we're talking about structure, and then, there's what we call the theory of transferable expertise. And what it means is your area of expertise. For instance, I can sit down in front of a camera, like interviewing people. It's not my core, So when you come to the film and TV ecosystem, everybody should understand what they are supposed to be doing. So, but where there's no structure, you see producers, they do everything. They have to look for financing. And then when they get the finance, they now have to look for, okay, how do we promote and market, Of course, no, sorry, before you get to marketing, you have to go to production, go to location, and do all the wahala with production, and then come out, and then the next thing, how do we market,
But is it not possible that he's doing that because he wants to cut costs?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think the primary, the fundamental issues there is because we don't have, that market segmentation where everybody does their own bits. On the side, besides doing events, I have a full-time job in distribution, where I don't do production. All I do is I sit down, I review contracts, licensing agreements. I want to acquire, you want to license or acquire, the rights. You see? So for people who do my kind of job, we sit in front of a computer from morning till night, and then we look at contracts. We do, right from the whole process of acquiring rights for a program, maybe be it film, telenovelas, local, international, whatever it is, So we sit down, and then we start from negotiation with the producers. We go to contract, we go to material delivery, and so on and so forth. It's an entire process. So now, where you have a structured industry, everybody understands what they're supposed to do. So the producer, there is the guys who finance producers, who maybe like a TV station, you are trying to commission a producer, so they do the financing. Or there's an executive producer, there is an investor who do the, who puts the money down, and then the producer goes, because he has the skills and expertise to go and produce. And when they finish, they hand it over to distribution, and that is how, the whole ecosystem should function. So, but where you have a producer doing everything from financing to production, and then when he finishes, most time I work with a lot of producers, and they come to me and they're trying to figure out. So I'm asking them, when you were producing, what was your plan? Because again, you should have a projection that, okay, I'm going to make money from maybe cinema, I'm going to make money from TV.
Again, should that be the thinking? Should that be the job of the producer?
No, trust me. In
so
all
we're
fairness,
still back. So we're still back to
so we are back to, trying to have an industry, a local industry, whether it's film, whether it's television. A lot of people think film and TV is the same, but on the business side, no, it's not. Okay, but whichever side of the divide you belong to, we have to understand that we must come to a point where every TV, for instance, broadcasters should understand that they should be in control of their content. And what does that mean? Yes, you cannot produce everything in-house, okay? But at the same time, you should also understand that, in Nigeria, there's this practice of selling airtime and all that. Honestly, it's very, very unusual, because in the business of television, the broadcaster is supposed to be in control of the airtime, meaning that, it's not for somebody to just produce something and because they have money to pay for airtime, then you sell, and then you don't bother about the quality of what is being aired on your platform, because they are paying you.
Well, most stations now worry about the quality of what's coming on their platform.
So what it means is that they should be able to put money into production. They should be able to commission producers. They should be able to call producers and say, okay, we want our own original programming that will be exclusive to us. That is the business of TV. So by the time you exploit it on your own platform and it comes out, it's sitting down in the shelf somewhere, 3 years later, you can say, okay, I want to license it, I want to sell it to somebody else. You know, so those are the things that we need to, you know, put in place, where producers have to go and find money to produce, and then they have to come and pay to air it. I think that is very much unfair to
so producers. These are the kinds of issues that will be dealt with at the summit.
Absolutely. So to begin to say, how can, you know, because again, even I understand that even the advertising revenue that they normally get from, you know, the airtime, when they buy airtime and they put their production, it's dwindling, it's shrinking, it's no more there.
So then, how does the television person make money?
Okay, so
seeing that advertising is dwindling, and you're advising against selling airtime, in quote.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
In quote, selling airtime.
Yes.
So how does the television person?
So the thing is this: if a broadcaster, if you own your channel, and you're able to produce, or you commission, or you buy the rights, okay, for your channel. First of all, you're looking for eyeballs, and the eyeballs is dependent on the quality of content, and that's why they say content is king, because again, what you put out is what will determine, if I take the remote, what channel am I going to switch onto. So if you're known to put it on crap, I mean, permit my language, programming, you definitely, you know, nobody's going to be watching you, and advertisers are looking at the numbers. So if a particular, you know, broadcaster is always, you switch it on like flooded with adverts, then there is something they are doing that is, you know, because no advertiser wants to go and put advertising in a channel when that's not rated, you know, and is not being watched. So all these things, you know, are, I mean, you can't separate them. You can't separate the impact of quality programming on revenue. You can't. So when you have quality content, then definitely people will watch. And when people watch, the ratings will be high. And when the rating is high, advertisers will come. Yes.
Okay, you've joined all the dots.
Yes.
So what kind of people are you expecting at these summits?
So like I said, we're looking at executives, chief executives, you know, of TV channels.
TV channels.
Yes, okay. And executive producers for film, people who have invested. I mean, some of the guys who have invested money in film, they're not even in the film business. Sure. You see? And unfortunately, the experience so far has not been so good because we have not yet found a proven model in terms of, you know, making back investments on the film side. You know, recently there has been the gap between, if you go to a cinema, you notice that there's been more appreciation for Nollywood films, for local films. People are going to watch, and you know, the gap between Hollywood demand and Nollywood demand was actually, you know, being closed. So but you find out that at the end of the day, even though films go to cinema, at the cinema level, there are just very few films that were able to recoup the investments. Yes. So by the time they come out of cinema, and there is still a lot of money to be made, it's like, okay, so what's the next thing? You know, what's the next thing? Where are we going to get, you know, money, like, to justify this investment? So those are the things that we need to look into.